Well, hello everybody, Mike with Spray Jones coming to you with another video. I hope your summer has been going well, and if it isn't, that you've got some new prospects and know what to do to change things around. We're going to get into another video on spray foam insulation. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mike, the owner of Spray Jones, and I produce content on spray foam insulation to educate you, the consumer or the industry, the installers, the end recipients on the good, the bad, the ugly of the foam insulation, but primarily we try to encourage people, build people up, and today's video is going to be just that. How do we build consistency in the foam world? Because I think one of the number one things, or if not the number one thing, is that people have a lot of stories over inconsistency where they're like, well, I hired a guy and it was a total failure and he didn't show up, or when he did, he made a mess, or he did this, or he did that. There's just a lot of problems where people have had pockets of good install and then they've had pockets of bad. So if you're looking to be in the foam business, you're already in the foam business, these are definitely going to be points that you need to grab and incorporate in. And then if you are somebody that is looking for an end, like you're the end user and you want to use somebody to do spray foam, you start talking to them, questioning them, interviewing them, doing some vetting. These qualities that I'm about to describe and these principles that we're going to put into practice will show up in their language and in what they speak. Now, to you guys that are out there that shouldn't be in the spray foam business and you're lazy and you're just creating problems and you're out trying to get some money, you might as well hang up on this video right now, because you're not going to implement any of this stuff. It's never been in you, in your core. So I'm not worried about giving the keys to the vault here on anything, because bad people never incorporate things that take effort. All right, so number one, learn about your product and your process. So know about 2-pound foam, know about different suppliers, know about different products that are out on the market. Start to understand the specs and the stats. How can they be sprayed hot, cold, adhesion issues, cohesion issues? Do they have a lot of gumminess to them? Do they gum up your gun? Are they hard to dial in and get to spray well? Good suppliers and good products cost money. You can't always be trying to get the bottom feeder issues out there. I mean, we all say it, you get what you pay for. I don't know a person that doesn't say that, but I don't know very many people that live it. They talk a big game about wanting to pay for good products, but then they don't want to part with their money. So don't be one of those people. Not if you're going to be hiring the spray foam guy, and not if you are the spray guy. Value the product and the process and learn about it and figure out how it needs to go on and what it needs to do and what is going to impede that. And my number 2 point is you have got to know why you're doing what you do. You have to know why certain things are built a certain way. Why do they put membrane there? Why do they put tape there? Why do they put caulking there? Why is the window here? Why does that stud need to be there? Why is the building built with these clips on the outside and not on the inside? So on and so forth. Anything has to work a certain way. So you need to learn why it works that way. Now, it could be stupid. It could be the proverbial cutting the ends off the ham. Why do you cut the ends off the ham? Because mom did it, because grandma did it, great-grandma did it. Well, why did great-grandma do it? Why? Well, she didn't have a pot that was big enough to fit the ham in. Oh, okay. When I got into the industry, I continually wanted to know why. Why are we doing it that way? Why does it work that way? Just tell me. I'm not trying to be a filibuster and break the momentum. When you understand why, then you can change with the circumstances. If you don't know, if you're just an army mule and, well, it's the way we've always done it, okay, that's going to get you into problems, because then you can't change with the circumstances. And you won't understand water, you won't understand thermals, you won't understand airflow, you won't understand air leakage, you won't understand why the spray foam needs to be brought down and tied into this or into that. So understand why things have to be the way that they are. Learn, ask questions. That why do we do it this way never goes away. If you've been spraying for 20 or 30 years, it never goes away. And when you understand why, you can explain it to people. And understanding why is a powerful, powerful sales tool. All right? Because most people will pay money once they trust you. And in order to trust you, they need to be able to have their fears dispelled and things explained to them, provided that they're open-minded, and their paycheck depends on getting an answer to a solution, not sticking with the one that they've got. All right, third point. Be willing to teach, and be willing to be taught, and be willing to explain. So this means be teachable. That's what the Bible talks about when it talks about being meek. It's not being weak, it's being approachable, humble, open-minded, not at odds with everybody. So you need to be able to take products, take processes. I mean, spray foam can be incorporated into a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, but what holds that up is people's preconceptions and notions. I've gone out and saw people on site that basically wouldn't even give me the time of day. They won't even listen to what I want to have to tell them. Like, no, we don't need any of that. We're not doing any of that. So they're not teachable. They're not interested in learning. They're closed-minded. So you got to learn, and then you need to be able to explain things. Like, if you have just been doing your job and spraying foam or building homes, but you can't explain the process of what you're doing and why, then you really, truly don't understand it. The power of being able to take your team aside and explain why you're doing what you do and how you're going to do it, and that's to your clients and to your customers. And there's a difference between clients. Clients pay you to be right, but the customer is always right. There's a difference. We'll give the customer what they want. It's a one-time in and out transaction, but a client is somebody that's going to build relationship, and they're somebody that's going to be teachable. They're going to want to have things explained to them, and they're going to want to incorporate your methodology, your product, and basically the trust that they have built with you for the most part. Now, I have had people that are lacking in character that over time they go back to thinking that your knowledge or your ability is commonplace, and then they don't value it, and then those relationships are going to fade away and die. Fourth point, maintain your equipment and readiness. This is very simple, but it's so overlooked. I mean, yes, oil changes are important and fluid changes and coolant and all these types of things, but people generally don't look at something until it breaks to the point of failure. Now, I've seen a lot of spray foam rigs that are not well kept, they're not well maintained, and as a result, you're going to get inconsistency and horrible results. When you go to need that thing to work, your parts are scattered, you don't have hardly any tools, you can't find anything. I'm always in a constant state with our guys of replenishing them. What do they need? Face shields, masks, head socks, spray suits, drill bits, additional spray gun parts. We take stock of how many parts we're using, how often and when. We also try to hour things out. We try to say, listen, it's been a long time since we changed this, let's change it. We did an air compressor rebuild last year, not because we needed to, because I was concerned about the hours that were on it, and I knew it was going to be sooner than later, so I decided to do it on my time. Generators and what have you, if they're getting bad, again, I preemptively bought a rebuild kit and rebuilt my generator top down, again, for the second time. So you need to take a look at tires and axles and wiring, and these are the things that can get you pulled over on the side of the road. These are the things that can start a small fire. These are the things that your air conditioner in your trailer isn't working when it's super hot outside, so then you can't cool things down. Your hose heat's intermittent, cutting in, cutting out. Your air compressor isn't working properly. It's blowing water. You're not getting dry air. As a result, these are the things that make you frustrated, and the foam doesn't go on smooth. People say, well, how do you guys spray such smooth foam? Well, you have good product, and then you have good equipment, and then you learn how to be proficient at dialing in your equipment and looking after it. Now, I'm not sitting here stating that we are the be-all and end-all of perfect maintenance. We're not, but we try to actually put some time in on things, whereas bottom feeders aren't. They're going to look at it once when they bought it and once when it breaks, right? Okay, number 5. Allow your people to experiment. Really. Don't be so regimented in what you're doing that you're not going to try new things. So I give my people, as the owner of the company, a lot of leeway to develop their techniques and develop how they like to work on things. Like, if the results are there, then I will allow you to implement your technique. But the moment that you have to do it your way and you're falling behind, or you're going through parts, or you're wrecking things, or it's cumbersome, or it leads to certain failures or problems, then we're going to change it by force, right? I have to come in and have some oversight. But I want my people to have the ability to experiment with to get results. And that should be you as a builder. You should be taking a look at things. If it's your project, say, look, I'm open-minded. What could we do here to make this better? How would we incorporate this? Let's talk about it now before we build it. Let's talk about it now as we're starting to frame it, all these types of things. And that's where you get a lot of creativity. When your people have said, look, I really don't care. You want to spray up, down, side to side, picture frame, reverse picture frame, those are all legitimate techniques. And I'll give you an example of something. You've seen in our videos that my guys spray side to side down the stud bay, and they get a lot more overspray on the inside of the stud bay and a lot more overlap onto the face of the studs. And you're like, well, why do you guys do that? Why don't you just picture frame? Why don't you have more crisp definition and control of your pattern in between the studs? And the answer is very, very simple. We have found that thin film of foam on the inside of the stud bay seals up a lot more of the cracks of where the studs meet the plates at the top and the bottom on wood frame construction. And yes, you can put your caulking in the stud faces and in between the seams of where you got doubles and triples and bottom plates, but who's sealing those areas? So when you do the side to side, you get overspray in the inside, and there's a lot more coverage, a flash coat, if you will, of coverage over everything, and you get a much, much better air seal of the entire stud cavity than picture framing crisp, distinct lines, filling in the middle, and then leaving exposed wood with exposed seams at the bottom and at the top. So that's the reason that we do it. All right, final point for this video. Thank you if you've stuck around to point number 6. Stick with proven patterns, but allow yourself to keep learning. So when you find things that work, foam that works, your gun works, your intervals on maintenance, changing out parts, you don't need to put a brand new chamber in the gun every week. So you can start to see, look, I can get a month out of this, I can get 2 months out of this. When the dryer is working properly, I can get 3 weeks out of the gun without having to tear it down. When you start to find things, like be observant in what you're doing and find out what works and stick to those proven patterns. But you shouldn't be so regimented that you're not now going to allow anything new into your world, right? And you can do that with your building. Like we've had builders where we've engrafted the spray foam into their designs. Said, here's how we're going to do a vaulted ceiling, here's how we're going to do a basement, here's how we're going to do crawl spaces. And then they start cranking that out time in and time out. You know, they get the order of the trades correct, they get the order and the thickness and the timing of the spray foam in, and then we have very little to no problem. We're able to get in and get out quickly, price is effective, we're making money, they're making money, and the end user is happy with the results. So when you get proven results and patterns, stick to it, know what you need to do in order to achieve success, and all of these 6 things are going to build consistency. And consistency is profitability, it's longevity in the marketplace, and it builds your reputation, and it's what we all want. But again, very few people are willing to go and do these 6 things. They're not going to stick with it. So hope you liked the video. Pass it along to somebody that needs to see it. Share it, please. Click on the thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, do so, because we've got more content like this coming out every week of every month. Talk to you later. Bye.